Hi guys, so welcome back to another video. Today we are once again talking about Mountaintop, and the reason why is you've probably seen floating around a lot of talk about what magazine option you should be using for your Mountaintop. Now, the main two contenders are Implosion rounds and spike grenades. Now, why is this? Well, so I'm not sure if you know this about grenade launchers, but the damage of a grenade launcher is heavily determined by the blast radius stat. So basically, in a nutshell, the higher your blast radius, the more damage is sent to the detonation damage, and the lower your blast radius, the more damage is sent to your impact damage. The total damage of both the impact and the detonation stays the same, but the split changes depending on your blast radius. Now, because the Mountaintop has 100 blast radius, this means that it's giving the maximum split to the blast radius side of things. If it was any lower, obviously it would have higher impact damage, but because it's 100, it's doing the most amount of blast damage that it possibly can. Now, this is not good news because spike grenades specifically buffs the impact damage of your grenade launcher. And obviously, if the split portion of the impact damage is the lowest it could possibly be with 100 blast radius, the value that you're getting out of spike grenades is the lowest it could possibly be, which is not good. So in order to make the most out of spike grenades, you'd have to try and lower the blast radius as much as possible. Unfortunately, on Mountaintop specifically, you can only lower the blast radius to 85. So yeah, so if you have this combo here of Implosion rounds and hard launch takes away 5 blast radius and Implosion rounds takes away 10. So this is the lowest you could possibly get it, 85. There's no other perks on this weapon that could possibly lower the blast radius anymore. And it would be unfortunate if you got both of these perks and a blast radius masterwork, but you know, I digress. I also want to note that in my previous Mountaintop video, I mentioned that spike grenade still improves the impact damage by 50% on special grenade launchers, and this is not true. It is actually 12.5%. It got the same change that the heavy grenade launchers got in update 7.3.5 back in the day. So yes, spike grenades is not as impactful on specials just as it is on heavies these days. So assuming we didn't have hard launch just for a moment, people discovered that just having Implosion rounds makes you deal more damage than if you just had spike grenades, purely because of how the blast radius is configured on this grenade launcher. So let me show you what I mean. As you can see here, we have 3 cases, one which is just spike grenades, one which is just Implosion rounds, and one which is Implosion rounds plus hard launch. Now, as you can see, this shows a clear picture that Implosion rounds are just superior in every case. However, what if we had spike grenades and just hard launch? So I did go out and get this information as well. So if I put side by side spike grenades plus hard launch and then Implosion rounds plus hard launch, you can see that the difference in damage is literally 28. It is so minuscule, but it is more technically for the Implosion rounds and the hard launch one. So this begs the question, do you actually need Implosion rounds because the damage increase is so unfathomably small? Well, kind of. In order to explain this best, I've created a handy flowchart to guide you through the thinking process, but I've also linked it in the description if you want to look at it in your own time. So basically, the gist of it is, with hard launch and spike, you're only 0.04% worse off than hard launch and Implosions, which is actually so minuscule, it's basically nothing. Obviously, if you have both hard launch and Implosions, this is the ideal case, but you shouldn't see this as a valid reason to chase Implosion rounds specifically. Assuming you have spikes but not Implosions, hard launch is all you need. However, Implosions on their own are better than spikes, though if you add in hard launch, the difference between them becomes negligible. The main takeaway should be that on their own, Implosions are more damage than spikes, but with hard launch, assuming you have either perk, it doesn't actually matter which one you pick because the difference between them is so small, it just really doesn't matter. So basically, in a nutshell, hard launch is actually what's important here, because without it, you're still doing less than 100% optimal damage, but with it, if you have either perk, like I said, it doesn't really matter. That 0.04% isn't going to mean anything. So as long as you have hard launch and either of the two main damage perks, you're literally good to go. Don't go out there and farm for a Implosion rounds Mountaintop specifically. If you get it, that's good, but hard launch is the main perk you should be worried about. And obviously, if you don't get either, then that's kind of bad, but that's basically how it is. So yeah, I hope this video has informed you a little more about this unique interaction. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Your support means the world. And if you're really into the content I create, consider becoming a member of the channel, which not only lets you support me in the best way possible, it also nets you a whole host of awesome perks along with it. A massive shout out to these members up on screen, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, dear viewer.